Hello, my name is Matt Beck. I am going to do a quick tutorial on how to get my AIM data that is recorded with my AIM Solo 2 DL with a bunch of data from the car's engine and things like that and track times and to display it alongside my GoPro video. I know that the AIM software, especially Race Studio 3, prefers to use the SmartyCam camera that is not only expensive, but apparently the resolution isn't that great. And I know that most of the people that I race with are going to be using a GoPro just because they're cheap and fairly simple and fairly robust, even though there's a lot of problems with those. This should apply to any other sort of video device that you have. Should work the same, but basically we're just overlaying AIM data onto a raw video file. I'm going to use two softwares for this. One is going to be the AIM Race Studio 3 and Race Studio 2. And I'm also going to use HP Tuners has a product called RaceRender, which I was shown by a friend many years ago, and it's a really awesome application to edit video with data overlays and things like that. I'm sure there are other options, but these are just the ones that I use. So let's get started. So I'm going to kind of start from scratch and just go over all of the process from start to finish. The first thing you're going to want to do, let's just go ahead and open up Race Studio 3. So this is typically what I use to download my data and look at it and kind of compare lap times, things of that nature. And then, so this is a standalone thing that you might want to use for various reasons, but for the purpose of this tutorial, we're just going to export the data out of it using RaceRender 2. And then, sorry, wow, getting this confused. Race Studio 2 out of the AIM software, and then convert it to a CSV, save that file somewhere, and then import that as the data file into RaceRender for the GoPro video. So I have several sessions from various events that I've done recently. I know that the video we're going to edit today is going to be from the 13th of October. So I can see that my fastest time was in this session at 11:48. So I'm going to grab this. By default, Race Studio will display the fastest lap of that session, which is really nice. If you want to grab some other channels for data and things like that, you can pop those up there. But all this data should come over together in the CSV file. So just make sure that you're looking at the right lap there. So I ran a 122.612 apparently on this video that I want to edit. So what you want to do is just kind of understand, like download it to AIM. If you have an AIM device, I'm sure you're very familiar with that. But just make sure you have that file. I had to install Race Studio 2, which is sort of complicated and weird, but this is a really old version of Race Studio, I guess. I'm kind of new to the AIM infrastructure. Anyways, go ahead and pop open RaceRender 2 once you have your data on your device. And so I see that all of my files here from the database from Race Studio 3. So I'm going to grab the file that I was looking at, which was October 13th on a Sunday. I think it was 11:48. 122.6. Okay, cool. You can actually see the lap time there. So I'm going to grab this file. Same deal. This is very similar to Race Studio 3, except it's like an older interface and it has some differences. But once you're in here, this is where you'll go ahead and export your lap. So we have all the data here. I actually want to go back and select more laps. This is very important. Otherwise, the video can get weird. It'll drop data on the start and end of your lap. Go ahead and grab the laps from the lap before your fastest one, or whichever one you're trying to do, and the one after. So you're going to grab 3 laps worth of data if you're on a racetrack. Next, we're going to do a data export. And then this will save a file wherever. I'm going to go ahead and just to make things a little bit easier, drop this in my main video folder that I've called GoPro. This is just going to be fastest Sunday lap. Name it appropriately. Whatever makes sense to find it easily. Maybe I'll do a actual time there. Click save. So once you figure out where to save the file, there's a bunch of things in the data that maybe you care about or maybe you don't. And then I'm going to go ahead and re-highlight those 3 laps that I want here. I'm also going to select all of the channels in here. And then I know for a fact that there's some channels on the can line that I don't have with my engine. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some of those things out. I don't have some of these things, anything with the steering or speed sensors on the actual ECU. And I don't have diff control, TC, things like that. Okay, anything else I can bring over, it's not a big deal. So what you want to do here is save it as a CSV file. I think that's a default. Grab all 3 of your laps that you want, all of your channels. You're going to say distance time here on the versus. Basically leave everything as default, but just grab the channels you want from here, from your aim data, and then as well as the before and after on the lap times. So we're going to click save. And yeah, that looks like it is saved. And so we will click save and exit. Oh, yeah, I already saved it, so I don't need to do that. You can go ahead and close out AIM now if that's saved properly. And just going to confirm that it's saved there. So I just dump all of my GoPro videos here. So this is the file here. If you want to open this up, you should be able to see everything on it. Yep, there we go. There's some headers there. All right, now that we have our CSV file saved from the 3 laps that surround the 2 surrounding the fastest lap and the fastest lap, we're going to open up RaceRender. I'm going to assume that you know how to edit video in RaceRender, so we don't spend a lot of time doing that. I'll show a little bit of how I kind of clip the video. I like to leave a tail on the start and the end of the lap just to see the last corner entry and then the finish. But like I said, it's not that difficult to figure out. But anyways, I always grab this first data overlay simple after I open RaceRender. And so as soon as you click on that, it's going to ask you to add the video file. I save all my videos in this GoPro folder. I'm going to go to this H2R 13 October date. And then I know that this 579 was my fastest session. You'll just need to know what your video is called, where that matched up with the lap you're trying to add to it. But I'm going to open this. The GoPro obviously runs, I have a GoPro Hero 7 and it has onboard telemetry and things like that. I actually use, for what I'm going to do today, I use data from the GoPro and from the AIM solo, whatever. So I'm going to load the data in that's from the actual GoPro file. Once again, I just kind of click through the defaults on this because I'm going to go grab my template here. So I click on the top left one, standard one. None of this matters. So when you do this for the first time, like I said, I'm assuming you know how to use RaceRender. It's pretty straightforward, but once you get a format you like, you can save it as a template. So I'm just going to click on all the defaults. The one that I bring up, that all these defaults have a speedometer, lap timer, things like that. What I'm going to do is going to add a template to a project. I have a couple of templates that I like to use. So this is going to be data 2. Okay, got it. I see what's going on here. All right, so this is what I was talking about. So the reason that there was a second data thing there was you can configure your data inputs, and so there are all of these gauges here and map icons and things like that are looking for data, right? So if I go ahead and it's getting confusing, hold on here. I click play, you'll see. We'll just see what is showing up so far. Okay. So this is a static text file or text element I just used to show what the actual time was. So that's not going to change, but you see the purple numbers are counting up. That's the actual lap time, and you see the car is showing its location on the map. That's the GoPro data. So all of these other items are going to be your actual aim data from that CSV file. So you'll notice that besides the speedometer, which is also coming from the GoPro, everything else will be looking at the aim data. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this up. Select the actual video file. And then, yeah, you're going to want to get rid of, obviously, like I said, I don't want to make this a tutorial about RaceRender, but you're going to want to trim out your outlap. And then I think this was the first hot lap. There we go. This is the last corner of the racetrack. Usually like to leave that in, and then I'll pull. There we go. And I remember I accidentally hit the wiper button because I don't know what happened. So I know that that's the end of that lap. So this is kind of after the finish. Leave it there. So okay, click OK. So this video is now a minute and 44 seconds long. My lap time was 1:22. That sounds about right. So I've now cut my video, and then I'm going to now add my data file from the CSV file. So I'm going to navigate back to this GoPro folder, click the CSV, and then we're going to need to we need to map all of these graphs to back to the CSV file, and then the last thing we need to do is just kind of use the synchronization tool to figure all that out. But so let's click on this RPM gauge, and then so by default it's going to add the data from just the GoPro data is the default because that's the first data thing. But you notice that now that there the CSV file name, which is the fastest Sunday lap, is coming up. So I immediately got RPM. I know that everything besides the speedometer, all of these gauges at the top are coming off of aim data. So I'm just going to switch over to these. And then, so now you'll start seeing this stuff filled out. Wideband. Let's see what we got here. All right, cool. Got everything, got oil pressure, everything except fuel pressure. Looks like the car's idling and the wideband hasn't turned on yet. So yeah, here we go. All right, so what's going on is the data from the gauges right now are recording from when I turn the car on. So you can just see that the car's idling. They're at 1300 RPM, even though I'm driving on track. So what we want to do is you're going to want to find a shift point that you can. So you need to find okay. So sorry, let me start over. Go find the fastest lap on the fastest point of the track. This is my local track called Harris Hill. So my fastest speed is going to be up here on turn 4, going up the hill. So I'm going to go over there and then find whenever I hit, I think it's like 104 miles an hour or something like that. Let me just go check it out. So you can see the neat part about having the map graphic there is you can see where the car is. So I'm going over here. So, okay, I hit 106 about here. So I'm now going to kind of, you can see I'm braking and downshifting. So let's go back a couple frames. All right. Yeah. So, okay. Now that I know that the car is going 106, I'm going to go find in that the new file, the CSV file. Oh, this is going to be difficult because I'm not using might need to add another graphic. Let's do speedometer. Okay. It's going to be silly. I'm going to add a second one just so I can see it. So this is going to be hooked up to the CSV data. So now that you see the 0, because I was in the paddock when this lap started, or 30 seconds in, whatever it was. So all of these gauges are going to show what I was doing on the aim. So everything that my RPM was coming from the aim dash through the CAN data, same with the speed, it was coming through that GPS. So I'm looking for the point in that data where my RPMs are probably around 7,000 RPM or so, and then my speed is around 106. So what I can do here is use the synchronization tool. And so we are going to so this is the start of the file. I'm not sure how long it is. Looks like it's about 6 minutes. So yeah, you're just going to kind of like think about being in the paddock and then going on an out lap and then coming back in. So I'm looking at, it's probably going to be, let's see when I actually started driving, about right here, I guess. Well, it's pretty fast. Okay, so 23 seconds in, gonna add probably like a minute and a half. It's gonna be 2 minutes. Let's just go around to about 2 minutes to see. Okay, cool. Okay, I'm at 2.5 minutes here. This is obviously, you're gonna have to know the track and what you're doing to find this stuff out pretty quickly, but you can see that I'm hitting on this gauge in the middle of the screen here. I'm hitting 105. So basically, I'm at the point in the video where I am at the highest acceleration point, and as soon as I want to, or as soon as I hit the brakes and start downshifting and all that, you're going to see the res fall and then the speed fall and all that stuff. And then the brake light turn on, all that stuff. You're just going to try to match everything up to what the video is showing you. So let's just see where we're at. I'm going to click OK, and we're just going to play it and see if it matches up. So I think we're within a second here already, which is pretty lucky that I got it on the first try. So anyways, what we're going to look for now is the shifts. Oh man, I'm excited. I think I nailed it pretty much out the gate. But what you're going to do is if the data is off a little bit, actually, this is bad for the example that I got really close. We'll play around with it, but watch the RPMs and then watch when I shift from it here in a second. Just watch the RPMs, watch my hand down here. There you see I shifted, then we're going to shift again. All right, maybe this is a better example. So we're coming up the hill, going to shift into fourth here. Okay. Well, unfortunately, that was really close. But anyways, all you need to do is use this, delete that, create a background, so you can see my shifts. All you need to do is use this synchronization tool and then basically go find a shift point if you have RPM or some other data point that you have, just to kind of sync everything up. And then you can kind of use these little scanners to go back and forth. I think I kind of got it first try, that's never happened until this video. So that's nice. But anyways, yeah. It'll take some kind of getting used to, but it's pretty straightforward from there. So click OK. Then I'm going to delete this because I just used it for syncing purposes. And then I'm just going to kind of make sure I'm going to watch the next shift on the straight to see if this all synced up. And yeah, okay. I'm happy with that. So anyways, that was it. It's pretty simple. I think that learning how to get around Race Studio was probably kind of difficult for me. It took me a while to just understand what buttons to click. There's a lot going on there. But once you figure that out and you can export the CSV, I've also been using RaceRender for probably, I don't know, 5-6 years now at this point. So I know it pretty well. There's just a lot of buttons everywhere. It might scare some people, but once you kind of get into it, it should be pretty easy. I don't know if this was helpful. Hopefully it was. I was hoping that we might have to play with this a little bit more. And then once again, I think honestly, setting up a template in RaceRender is going to be really helpful. I think I just did this for the first time last week. So getting back to getting that template coming all from the aim data or might be helpful. So I'm gonna play around with that, but that's how I got my aim data into my GoPro video. Hope you like that. If you have any if you have any questions about this, um, drop in the comments and then I'll try to answer them. I'm not trying to get views or anything. I just hoping to kind of spread the word on how to do this. I think this stuff is really helpful. I've been just watching video with the onboard GoPro data for years and years, just to kind of like see where I'm messing up and doing things. But I think seeing the actual like RPM data and then my engine health stuff in the video is really helpful. I also diagnosed I was getting some fuel starvation on right hand corners at the last track day, and I was able to see in the aim data the fuel pressure drop off, and just having that with the context of the video is also really helpful. So yeah, and then just to kind of finish this off, I would always save your project. This is going to be really helpful because so let's just say this is going to be a Sunday lap, track name, whatever. Save the project, something that makes sense to you. I always like to put dates on files so I can go back and look at them. But so you'll save your project first, and that way, if you've missed anything, instead of having to do all this over from scratch, you can go back and do small little tweaks. And then once you're ready, just kind of output the actual video. That was the project file that we just saved, and now this is going to be the actual video file. And it's gonna, takes probably 20-30 minutes to actually process that video. But yeah, that's what it looks like. And I think that's about it. Hope you have a good one. And yeah, hope you get it all set up and have no issues.